If you're thinking about becoming a social media manager in 2026, or maybe you're already diving into starting your business, but you're struggling landing consistent clients and making real money, there's a slight chance you might be wondering if it's even worth it. And if that's the case, then this video is definitely for you. Because after running my social media marketing agency for the last 3 years, especially since I started as a little baby freelance social media manager who had no idea what she was doing and somehow grew my company to 6 figures and growing, I want to talk honestly with you about whether social media management is even worth it in 2026, what most people get wrong about this career, and how to know if this path is actually right for you. If we haven't met before, I'm Maddie, and over the last few years, specifically in 2025, I was able to grow my social media marketing agency to a healthy mid 6 figures. And now I teach other social media managers how to build structured and sustainable businesses too. Let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the opportunity that is social media and social media management. I need you to understand that the social media marketing industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And this multi-billion dollars is not just stemming from major companies and big brands. This is small companies as well. If you can help someone set up their business and use social media as a funnel to drive more traffic to their business and to hopefully generate more revenue through social media, no matter what that looks like, it can look different for every single business. The opportunity is absolutely there. And even if you're not the one who's in front of the camera making the content for the business, you can still have a piece of the pie by being the person that helps businesses develop their strategies and create that content that's going to help them drive more revenue and generate more sales to their business. Every single year, the demand for content increases. Every single business has an opportunity to show up on social media and generate recurring, sustainable revenue for their business. And when they do that, they can't just show up and post once, maybe twice a week. They need to be showing up consistently, especially if their goal is to generate revenue and drive sales to their business via social media. But what most business owners struggle with is they might be really good at running their business. That does not automatically make them good at social media marketing. And every single business owner that we've worked with that is signed onto our agency usually starts with absolutely no knowledge about social media. They all come to us with the same problem of they have no idea what they should be posting and they have no time to sit down and think about it. And that's the problem that we solve for them. Most business owners don't have the time, the strategy, or the knowledge to show up on social media consistently and effectively, which is exactly why social media managers, content strategists, content creators play an extremely important role in the marketing world today. So yes, the opportunity is absolutely there and you deserve a piece of the pie if you're being called to do that. But here's the part that most people don't talk about enough. Most social media managers don't fail because they lack the skill. Most social media managers fail because no one's taught them the business side of this industry. When people get into social media management, they usually learn things like content creation, how to use Canva, maybe how to dabble with ChatGPT, and maybe even how to use scheduling softwares like Meta Business Suite, Rella, Metricool. But very few people teach things like how to structure your business, how to structure your packages, what services you could even be offering as a social media manager, how to manage your clients professionally, and how to actually build systems that support your business, not create more responsibility. So what happens is a lot of social media managers end up becoming really good at doing the work, but they never learn how to actually run a sustainable business. And this is when you start seeing things like only charging $300 a month for your services, overworking yourself and working way too many hours and dedicating so much time to just one project and one client. Taking on clients who don't respect your time and don't value the work that you actually do, feeling overwhelmed and burnt out and questioning all of the life choices that you've recently made. And eventually, and unfortunately, a lot of beginner social media managers end up giving up. Not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't have the structure. The social media managers who actually succeed in this industry develop 3 key things. First, strategy development. Clients no longer just want someone who posts content, especially if you're asking them to pay a higher rate. They want someone who understands their audience and knows how to communicate their value online. The second key factor is systems. When your business has systems for things like onboarding clients, planning content, and managing communication, everything becomes easier and more sustainable. And believe it or not, clients notice that and really appreciate and value that. And third is discipline. Because let me tell you, freelancing and running your own business requires a level of discipline that I myself was not anticipating. To give you a little backstory, I grew up, obviously, as most people do, going to school K through 12, and then I spent 8 years in college. So I was very used, and then I became a high school teacher. So I was very used to being in this box of having so much structure and working this 8 to 5 schedule. Literally, the first 26 years of my life, I was in this box and followed the structure. But when I decided to start my own business and I had the freedom to work when I want, show up when I wanted to, pitch new clients when I wanted to, require the consistency that it takes to run a business, I struggled a lot. I also found out that I have ADHD during all of this time. So when I jumped out of the box and was no longer confined by all these specific rules and regulations of how to live my life, I had to build the discipline and consistency that was needed for me to be able to take my business from broke freelancer to successful agency owner. You have to be willing to learn and improve and keep showing up, even when things get hard, because they will. That's life, that's business, that's the industry that you're jumping into. And the people who combine all three of these things are the ones who really end up becoming successful in this industry. So, how do you know if becoming a social media manager in 2026 is the right move for you? Is it actually worth it? There's a few questions that you can ask yourself to really determine whether or not this is the right move for you. Do you enjoy social media and do you enjoy marketing and understand what it takes to determine a client's target audience and create content that helps them drive that audience to invest in whatever services that they're offering? Do you like the idea of helping businesses grow online and generate more revenue? I know for me, I love when a business owner comes to me with an idea or a vision, or I love even seeing the potential for a client and seeing how we can get from where they are now to where they want to be. That is actually one of my favorite things about this industry and being able to do that for someone. It's actually surprisingly very fulfilling. It's way more fun than creating content, in my personal opinion. Are you willing to learn the business side of freelancing and social media management and not just the content creation side? Are you good with people? Because that is also very important. And are you someone who values structure and systems and long-term growth? And even if you don't value it in this moment, are you willing to put in the work to become the person who builds a business? And if the answer is yes to most of those questions, then starting a career in social media management can actually be incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. But it works best when you approach it like a business and not just a creative skill. When I first started as a freelance social media manager, I made so many mistakes that most beginners make. I said yes to everything. I offered my services at a very low rate. I allowed clients to negotiate my rate, which is something that you don't really think about if you've never run a business before, but don't do that. We'll talk about that more in another video. I brought on a lot of clients who didn't actually respect the process and didn't actually value and respect the services that I was offering to them. And honestly, looking back on that now, it's because I didn't even really value or respect my processes or the work that I was providing to my clients. And it took a lot of time and a lot of really hard lessons before I realized what I really needed was structure, systems, and clarity. Once I started building systems about our client processes and how we structured our packages and how we operated as a business, everything started to change. And in 2025, our agency grew and hit our first six-figure year. And a big part of that came from understanding what it takes to run a sustainable business. especially in a creative industry. And this is exactly why I created a community called Hollis Creative Academy. It's a community specifically for social media managers and creative freelancers who want to build successful and sustainable businesses without the burnout and chaos that comes with becoming a freelancer and scaling a business. Because if you didn't know, and if you haven't noticed, there really is no playbook for this. And inside the community, we talk about things like pricing, building your packages, landing new clients, client red flags, all the mindset shifts that come along with starting something new and feeling like an imposter and not knowing what to do. I have accumulated all of the knowledge that I've gained over the last 3 years, and I'm dumping it into this community because every single person deserves a piece of the pie in this multi-billion-dollar industry. And there's no reason anybody should be gatekeeping this information because there's plenty of it to go around. If that sounds helpful for you and where you are in your journey, you can check it out using the link in the description and enjoy a 7-day free trial to the community. So if you're thinking about becoming a social media manager in 2026, or you're already on this path and still trying to figure out whether or not this is worth it, the opportunity is absolutely there. But the success in this space usually comes from learning how to run a business, not just knowing how to create good content. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe because I have so much good content in store for you. And I'm sharing everything that you need to know to run a sustainable and successful social media management business. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.